everyone, it's Real Time and you're watching another Supernatural review, and this is season 3, episode 13, Ghostfacers. If you're new here, I'm doing like a recap and review of every single episode of Supernatural, so let's get into it. Such a good episode. And what's crazy is I was like, last video I was like back-to-back good episodes. 3 back-to-back good episodes. Mystery Spot, Jules and Bella, and Ghostfacers. So amazing. And I think this is like really when Supernatural picks up, because when you have, it's not just like having these good episodes, but especially when they're like back to back like this, it like really like it takes you over. It transcends you to another level. And that's what's crazy is I think season 4 and season 5, like literally it's like every single episode. Like I think maybe there's only like 2 or 3 episodes in those seasons that are like not top episodes. Like they're so good every single episode. And I also talked about last video is like I am going to do like top episodes in every season, and how I was like, I don't know if Mystery Spot and Jules and Bella, like I don't know which one's better. And I always thought like, okay, Ghostfacers would probably be like top 5 episodes in season 3, but after rewatching it, I think this is the top episode in season 3. I do. And I already saw it's like not one of the higher rating episodes in IMDb. It's still high rating, but compared to the other episodes in season 3, like I understand like maybe it's not the highest of ratings, but like watching this episode, and I don't know why I'm like really crazy right now. I think I'm a little bit tipsy. Anyway, I already had like a drink and a half. I don't even know what's happening. But after like watching this episode and like we're analyzing, and I'm trying to think like what's the best episode of season 3. This is the best episode of season 3, Ghostfacers. And I don't know, maybe my mind will change when I do the top episodes, because I'm gonna do them after I do all the seasons, and we got 15 to go, so it's gonna be like a couple years to be honest, because I'm doing 2 a week. But I straight up, Ghostfacers, you know, it could change, but I'm saying this is like the best episode of season 3. This episode is literally amazing. Like I just like, I've obviously seen this episode multiple times, but I'm just like, especially like analyzing it, like I am like blown away. So this episode did things that like no other episode does, and like, well, no episode this far. And then I actually think for the rest of the series, like we don't have an episode like this. Like there's this episode in season 11 called Baby, which kind of also like it doesn't have like a typical like, you know, regular camera way, and we'll discuss the baby when we get to Baby. But this is like, you know, found footage, I guess is the technical term, where it's like people's like using like their own cameras, and it's not like typical filmmaking. And so with these type of things, they could go like so wrong, like they could. But when shows do it, and like there's some movies that do it, like there's this movie I love called Project Almanac, that is a found footage film that's about time travel too, which is such an interesting concept, and it makes sense to do with found footage. It maybe one day for movie of the week if you watch my other videos, but like it just, they did it so perfect, and it made so perfect sense. So we brought back these characters that we saw in season 1, and so it's kind of great when they like leave the door open for other, you know, people to come back. And so I don't know whose idea was to bring it back. Maybe there's always idea to bring it back, and they're kind of playing on the Ghostbusters, obviously, with the Ghostfacers name. I don't know if they revealed that in season 1, but it's Ghostfacers, so we're kind of seeing it from their perspective in their show. And what's also so great is that it's a ghost episode, but as I said, every time they do ghosts, it's something new, it's something interesting, it's so amazing. So it's so crazy that like actually like this was 2008. So it's like a leap year. And they also probably did this around the time of leap year. I don't know the exact release date. Like maybe it wasn't exactly around the time. I don't know. Especially with the writer's strike. I think I'm going all over the place and I'm a little bit tipsy, so I think I'm talking fast too. Sorry. But they did it where it's like leap year, and that was 2008's leap year. And what's crazy is that this is leap year. And I'm not gonna post this actually till I think April at this point, because I'm doing these like literally a month in advance, because I'm just doing it when I can. And I definitely think this is gonna be like April when I post this, but I'm filming this today, February 23rd, 2024. So we're about to have leap year in a few days, like a week or whatever. And so it's kind of crazy, like this is leap year. And so like obviously like, and I'm doing it now, like right before leap year, like it's the universe makes things happen. And anyway, but it's like a cool concept, and they definitely took advantage. It's like, you know, they they could have not done something with leap year, and like I think people would have noticed. But it's great that they did do something with leap year and had it where like ghosts would only appear on leap year, so it's like every 4 years. And so that's why it's like something where like, you know, this is when Dean's dying, they're dealing with so many things, but it's always kind of been on their list to always do this case, and they can only do it every 4 years, so might as well, you know, go out with a win. And then the Ghostfacers show up. So it was a great idea. I mean, they could have done it where it was like not found footage, but it makes so much more sense found footage, and it's so great that they did it. And what they got to do in this episode, they can't do in any other episode, which is like really cursed. This is a CW, and so they can say things like bitch, and they can say hell, but they can't say like fuck or, you know. And so they were able to get away with it where they were able to say it and like bleep it out. And it's so great that like CW or whatever executive was like okay with that, because, you know, there are shows where like people can curse and they just like bleep it out. I think it's like Fox or something that allows that. But like a lot of other shows, you can't even like curse and they bleep it out. So it's so great that they allowed it. And it just, and also like, it's like, these are how much the brothers actually curse that we like don't get to see. And it makes me think like if this show was like HBO or something where they were actually cursed, like what the brothers would be like. And I feel like it makes sense for them to curse. Like it just makes more sense. And then they used it in like the most perfect way. Like when they were running upstairs and Sam's like, fuck, like in a perfect way. And then like when the guy's like, you're really strong to Dean, and he just like sticks up his middle finger, like it's so perfect, it's so amazing. And so it also like all the actors for, because there was 5 of them now for Ghostfacers, were all so amazing. And they had Dustin from Schitt's Creek, who was the intern that I've obviously, this is not my first time noticing, because I obviously have watched this episode multiple times, and maybe when I was watching Schitt's Creek, I was like, this guy looks familiar. Maybe I don't exactly remember when, but I did remember that it is Dustin, and he did such a good job as intern, and like everyone did such a good, like the writing was so good too. And it's so crazy, like these, like I think their names are Ed and Harry, and I don't usually remember other characters' names, so props on me, and it's actually a good sign that I do remember their names. But they had like such good chemistry, and it's like, this is really the only second time we've seen them. Like, I don't know, like it's so good, and like their banter to each other, and like it's just such a funny episode. It's such a funny episode. Like I can't look away because it's so good. But also the concept is so good about like, and it's something we also haven't seen before. I said again, like every time we go, it's something new and something interesting. So like death echoes, like we've never seen that before. It's such an interesting concept that they're like replaying their death because they weren't killed there or whatever. Like their bodies had to be there. So it's like an interesting idea that it was like this guy's birthday, and then he like took like dead bodies from the morgue, and then they were like replaying the echo. And so it kind of like, it's sad that like the intern Dustin died, but like it kind of was like needed for the story, and added this like extra element that like he died, and then like Ed was able to get him out of it. And then he was like kind of thing, well, when he was the one who like stopped the other ghost, like that felt a little bit like too much, but like, you know, it was needed. It was perfect. It was a perfect episode. And so at the end we see like Sam and Dean, they're like, oh, I kind of like this episode, but then they ruin it all because, you know, they can't really let this thing out. Like they did the right thing. But as you can tell from the way I'm talking about this episode, it's so beautiful. It's so amazing. And like, I think like people just like, you know, when you're watching it and there's so many good episodes in season 3 and then you get to so many good episodes in season 4, like you obviously remember this episode and people remember this episode, and like this is one of those top episodes, but I think it's one of those underrated top episodes. And it's like, how can you even say like a top episode's underrated? But when you're like, there's so many good episodes of Supernatural, like it's those top episodes kind of get lost. But like this literally could be like one of the top 5 like overall seasons at like all 15 seasons episodes. Like it's so good. And like I just like never realized, like I obviously realized how good it was, but when I was like thinking, like I always thought Mystery Spot and Jules and Bello, I always thought Jules and Bello was like the top one actually from season 3. But when you're like really getting down in the nitty gritty, like this episode is so damn good. This episode is so damn good. So anyway, I think I talked enough, but yeah, so good episode. Anyway, yes, comment your thoughts, you know, whatever else. So thank you guys for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and bye.